Welcome friends, let's get crafting. On today's video, we are going to make a topiary. First, you will need a clay pot of any size. Mine is about 4 inches. A styrofoam ball, mine's about 4 inches. A napkin of your choosing. Some fluorofoam or styrofoam. Some Mod Podge and something to put it on. A stick, which I got from my yard. And I'm using Spanish moss. Ribbon of your choice. Some tools to cut things, glue gun. First off, we are going to take the napkin back off of the front so we can just use the front there. And then we are going to cut it out. I'm cutting out the first full piece because I want to keep that, and then I'm going to fussy cut around all those ladybugs because I don't want much of the white, but I don't mind a little bit. As you are watching this, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me, and if you could, please subscribe, like this video. Don't forget to hit that bell to get all my videos. Next, what we're going to do is with the Mod Podge, we're going to start in little sections. You're going to put the Mod Podge down on the pot, whether you're using clay pot or any kind of pot that you want, and you're going to part by part start putting on that top part of the napkin that we cut off. You're going to use your fingers and just dab. Don't rub because you don't want to tear your napkin because it could tear very easily. And you're just going to dab and put it on and dab and continue until you have the entire pot covered. You place your little parts, whether mine are ladybugs, but if you have something that is flowers or a total different design, you just continue placing and putting on top and filling in all those spots on the pot. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my subscribers for being super kind and super nice. You guys are the best. You guys give so many wonderful compliments and cheer me on and keep me wanting to continue doing these videos. And here I am, I'm just starting to wrap it around the edge, all the pieces that come up above, and filling in the top part with any extra leftover pieces that I have. I ended up using a napkin and about a quarter of another napkin to finish the entire pot. I don't mind that it's over the edge on the inside because you won't see that after it's all filled up. When that's all said and done, you're going to, what I'm using is the styrofoam. I cut it into a circle so that it could fit inside. And now we're going to work on the top part of the topiary. I'm just pushing that stick in and measuring it to see how high I want it. Cutting down the stick. And then I also put a little bit of glue in there at some point because it does wiggle and move. These are all the flowers, or most of the flowers that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to pick apart the flowers because I don't want a lot of the stem on some of them, and some of them I keep a little bit of the stem so I can just poke them in there. I'm just going to use the back of a paintbrush. It's got a fine point at the end. Stick it into the styrofoam ball, put a little bit of glue, and put in the flower. I do that for all of these little purple flowers. I just work myself around the ball, giving myself a middle point. You can use any kind of flowers that you want, anything that makes you happy. Now I'm working on these little blue ones. I'm taking them off of the bunch there, but I'm going to keep those leaves for later. And I'm just going to sporadically put them in different places, working myself around. You could do whichever way you want. You can put them all in a row in a blue. You can put them all on the top, all on the bottom. Whatever makes your face smile, your eyes happy. Next are these pretty yellow orangey ones. They were really pretty. I really like those. What I did is I pushed the leaves up because I wanted some of that greenery and just cut a little piece off, and I was able just to take those and stick them into the styrofoam like that without any glue. You can use glues to make sure that it doesn't fall out, but for me, I just took them and stuffed them in that ball. And here you can see I'm just pushing it in. They filled up a lot of space, which was helpful because it makes it that I didn't need a lot more other flowers. Now I'm doing these pretty little pink ones. There's a bunch on each little part, so it helped to give a nice dimension of color. And then you'll see at the end, I also do a nice big pink flower and then a cute little white one all around. I also add in some other greenery leaves to give the fillers a little more. Now we're doing our second coat of Mod Podge on top of everything. You want to give it a really, really good coat of Mod Podge and then let it dry really well. As you can see, I'm going pretty heavy-handed with that Mod Podge because I want to make sure that this is all sealed in and nothing will happen to it. I plan on having it outside in the summer, so I don't want the rain or the weather to ruin the paper that much. I mean, it's under a cover, so it shouldn't get to it, but just in case. We do get some pretty windy days. There's my son saying hi. Now, as you can see that I finished my topiary part, I'm going to stick on a bow. I'm sorry I don't show making my bow. I am not very good at making bows. It takes me quite a while. When I get better at it, I will show myself making bows, but for the time being, I'm not showing anybody. And now I found these little tiny ladybugs in my stash, and I thought these would look perfect on this. Seeing as this is kind of, if you can see, a ladybug theme. I love ladybugs. So I'm just taking a few and gluing them on with my glue gun here and there sporadically around. I stick two on the bow, I stick some in the flowers, I stick some on the leaves and amongst the topiary. I think it's really cute. I was doing this project out in my garage where my workshop is, and my kids are home for a PD day. So it was interesting trying to do this with them home. It took me longer than I thought because it was constant mom, 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 mom. Now that the glue is all dry, what I'm going to do is take some sandpaper. This is just 120 grit, I believe. And in a downward motion, I'm going to sand at the bottom to get all those loose parts off. You don't have to do this. You could actually glue that down onto the bottom to give it a finished bottom. But because of where it's sitting, I wanted to make sure that it sits flat. Now it's time to stuff it. I'm using some of this craft paper, and I'm just going to put the foam on top, and I glue around the edges to make sure that it doesn't move. After all is said and done, I wish I would have put a couple rocks in the bottom to give it some weight, so when it's outside it doesn't tip over from the wind, but next time I'll remember that. Finding my part that I want, and I'm just going to take that stick, stick it in the middle and push it all the way down in. And then I also add a little bit of glue around the end so it doesn't wiggle around. Sorry it's hard to see me doing that. I keep trying to bring it so that you could see it, and there I'm showing you there's a little bit of glue in there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some Spanish moss. I'm just going to pull a few pieces apart so I can work in little sections. And then I take my glue gun and I cover the styrofoam in a whole bunch of glue, and then I just stick the moss on top and arrange it just so it looks like it's all over the place and I get all that white stuff covered. Don't want to see that. And there you have it. Pretty topiary. Good Mother's Day gift if that's an option. And there it is, set up outside of my house. And this is where it's going to stay. In the mornings we like to go out there and have coffee and enjoy the weather. Now we've got something nice and pretty to look at. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me on my channel, Lama's Creations DIY. My name is Tammy. I hope you subscribe, like this video, and don't forget to click on that bell. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.